Keep it bro, keep it slow. Let's go, y'all. I like to do a lot of chit chat. Now, this video explains why Steph Curry is pretty much the messiah of the world today that we live in. That we all know, you know, society, America, whatever place you live at. This video explains why Steph Curry has went from a human being to a deity, pretty much. So we're going to look at this video, bruh.
Best conditioned athletes in the NBA. At 34 years old and in his 14th year in the league, Steph is averaging 31.4 points, 6.7 boards.
Who can stop him, bruh? You can't name one player in NBA history who can lock up Steph Curry. He's a killer, bruh. An assassin. A freaking meat grinder, bruh. He will destroy your entire family's legacy. Just his face alone is enough to demolish an entire nation, bruh. It's enough to bring an entire society to its knees. Matter of fact, an entire society to extinction. That's the freaking presence Curry has on this planet that we live on today, bruh.
And 7 assists per game. The greatest shooter of all time is shooting a career-high 51.8% from the field.
What? 51 per 8? So he's at his best right now. He keeps on climbing, bruh. 51.8 field goal percentages? Bro, your favorite player cannot... They're not even capable of doing something like that, bruh.
While playing 34.7 minutes per game in 20 games so far this season, and showing no signs of slowing down. In an interview with the Basketball Illuminati podcast, Curry's trainer, Brandon Payne, spoke extensively on how not only Steph is not even close to a physical decline, he's actually improving physically.
The groundwork for all this late stage.
He's a god, bruh! What do we gotta keep chatting on about? He's better than Michael Jordan. I'm sick of the debates, bruh. Stop this nonsense of you guys talking about LeBron and freaking Jordan when there's already a freaking someone we need to start talking about being the greatest of all time. Look at his percentages. He's ranked number 1 in almost everything, bruh. 3 points is worth more than 2 points, am I correct? Jordan wasn't averaging more freaking 3-point percentages, better 3-point percentages, better 3-point shots, better field goal made from the 3-point line than Curry. Was he? No, he wasn't. LeBron's not. Bro, and he has the unanimous MVP to back it up. That's the one award that nobody has. Your favorite player does not have that award. Man.
Stage career stuff was late in 2011. I mean, everything that we did then up until now has been about extending his effective playing career. And back when we were doing all the neuromuscular and all the processing stuff that we were doing then, and people were looking at us like we were crazy.
Yes.
The systems within the body were so
They're
well.
looking at you like you're crazy because they don't understand how a grown man is able to do this, bruh. They're not able to comprehend it inside their own brains, bro. Your brain has to be at 100% capacity, right? They say our brains are being used at 13%, right? Well, if you use your brain at 100% capacity, then you still wouldn't be able to understand how Curry works, bruh. That's how different he is, man.
Oiled and so well developed that any sort of physical decline that would occur would be offset by sped up processing mentally. So if you can slow the game down and play the game at a different speed than everybody mentally, you can offset that physical decline. For him, where we've been very fortunate is that he's not even close to a physical decline. He's actually still climbing physically. Again, everything we've done from 2011 till now has been about extending this and making sure that we had things in place to offset any sort of decline.
Payne went on and explained why Steph is so special and why his success maintaining his elite game shape cannot be replicated.
So what makes Stephen so incredibly special, number one, he's supremely talented as a shooter, as a basketball player. He was going to be Stephen Curry whether Brandon Payne came along or not.
Right.
I just happened to be the guy that was fortunate enough to be there to provide him these tools and provide him a way that maybe we added a few things that might not have been there before. But it can be replicated. And I've said this, and I think I've even said this on this program before.
He can't be duplicated. He can't be copycat. He can't be copycatted. He can't be replicated. And he can't be freaking. He can't be You can't duplicate him, bruh. You can't replicate him, bruh. He is him, bruh. He just is him.
The one thing that Stephen Curry does better than anybody else is he asks the best questions. He asks really probing, detailed questions about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what are all the benefits that we're going to get out of it. And I've always been a big proponent of making sure that we do things on our workouts that don't have any singular benefits. So everything has to have multiple layers of benefits for it to be worth our time, because we have this 60 to 90 minute window, 4 to 5 days a week to get things done. And we have to make sure that we're getting the absolute most out of every drill that we can.
Honestly,
well, if a player isn't very well educated in all of the processes and all the systems that we're working on.
Curry only needs he only needs 1 minute, bruh. 60 seconds of practice before a match. And the game is already decided, bruh. Just like that, man. I'm sick.
It's hard for them to be extremely detailed in their approach. Stephen has a firm understanding of what we're doing from the ground up, from his toes to his brain, and from his brain to his toes. We talk about working the body in both directions. And when you have a player that's that in tune, he's able to approach everything with an incredible level of detail, to where you can have two players doing the same drill. He's going to get more out of it just because of his understanding. He understands the postural things we're looking for. He understands the breathing. He understands the processing. He understands what we're looking for from tempo and rhythm and mechanics. And that makes for more effective workouts.
Later in the podcast, Curry's trainer recalled the time Atlanta Hawks superstar Trae Young joined Curry for one of his intense shooting workouts and barely could keep up with all the cardio. Hayne also mentioned one workout with a certain NBA player, who he does not name, who tried to keep up with Curry and paid an unfortunate price.
First off, I don't like just throwing anybody in the workouts with Steph, because they're very uncomfortable for somebody that's new. And
he didn't name them because they were a nobody, but you gonna name Trae Young, bro? Come on.
It's not just all the different sequences and all the different process we go through. The pace that Stephen works at is just incredible. And some of that's driven by me, but the biggest thing is he doesn't quit on things. And his pacing is just incredible. So this year, I think that Trae just wanted to get a feel. His agent reached out to me and said, hey, Trae would really like to work out with Steph one time. I said, well, let me shoot with Trae a few times before we put him in there. And let's see where he is, and then we'll go from there. So Trae comes in, man. We weren't in that workout 3 minutes. Stephen was moving like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, man. I looked at the guys rebounding, and I was like, I love Trae, but this might be a bumpy one for him in the beginning, and it was. But once Trae got used to the pace, he was great. He was perfectly fine. I think that initial 2 or 3 minutes was kind of like, oh, so this is what it feels like. And then Trae really got into it. And what was interesting to me, and I've noticed over the years, when Stephen has a chance to step into this teacher's role, talking to Trae about what we're doing, and he's saying, hey, we do this when we see this. And when he gets into that teacher's role, he kind of gets more excited as well. He starts going even harder. He really enjoys that. And I think Trae really got a lot out of it, because I saw Trae, as that workout went on, he got better and better and better. And he was hanging on every word that Steph had to say. And I know he wasn't feeling great, because it wasn't when normal people are like in game shape. And it was a workout of, you better be in more than game shape to get through it. And Trae fought and worked really hard and was very impressive as he went through that workout. He took a whole lot from it. I was extremely impressed by him. We've had a player who's still in the NBA go through the first 5 minutes, sat down on the floor beside the door for about 30 seconds, stood up, went outside and threw up, and was done.
Oh, wow.
It's a good player, too. It's not a bad player. It's a good player.
Oh, yeah,
so that pace can be difficult for a lot of guys.
That's what I'm talking about, bruh. That's what I'm talking about when you're trying to keep up with the unanimous MVP, bruh. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what you deserve, bruh. You don't need to be standing in the same floor. Matter of fact, the same dimension as Curry, bruh, when you try to be in the same lane as he is in when it comes to NBA and basketball, bro. It's like the difference between it, it's like heaven and earth. What are you doing, bruh? Like, what?
As per usual, much of Curry's dominance has come from outside the arc, but this season Curry's scoring closer to the basket, which has been an underrated aspect of his hot start. Overall, his 5.62 point makes per game and 62.7 field goal percentage inside the arc are both unmatched in the point guard position, and his driving and finishing in the paint is what stands out. Payne detailed how Steph is able to take the pounding and how it's not all about strength when finishing at the rim.
Well, so when it comes to finishing, there's a couple of things we talk about a lot, and the biggest thing is understanding court geography, what you can and can't do, and how to protect the basketball when you leave from certain spots on the floor. So, for instance, when you're driving and we get into the paint, you know there's a point on the floor, especially if you're being trailed by somebody bigger, that you have to leave the ground with in order to get the ball out in front of your body. If you get too tight to the basket and you have to take the ball straight up above your body, you're probably going to get that shot blocked no matter who's guarding you. But with him, just all the experiences he has, his ability to control defenders, not only, in terms of creating space for shots on the perimeter, but controlling shot blockers around the rim, using his strength to create controllable contact, which is the thing that we talk about.
Tis the season for #giving.
Oh, giving is the best.
Blah, 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 blah. And a little something for the dear. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Not sorry.
I'm gonna say it, bro. You can't be somebody's trainer if you can't keep up with them. That makes no sense.
Making sure that we hit first. If we hit first, we're in control. If we get hit, we're not in control. So creating that controllable contact, understanding the court geography and understanding the launch points and learning how to protect the basketball has a lot to do with that. And people think I'm crazy when I say he's still getting better. He's still getting stronger. He's still getting faster. He's still improving. That's not just me. It's not coach speak. It's true. You can go back. I actually went back through my Instagram stuff last night, just looking through some things. And I think as far back as 2018, we kept hearing Coach Kerr say, well, this is peak Stephen Curry. And you've heard the same thing every year since.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop anytime soon because he's learning more. He processes things at such a high level, and his body continues to get better, and his skill continues to get better. And he's still improving.
Finally, Payne talked on Warriors' slow start and how Steph got into a Michael Jordan-like takeover mode to will the Dubs through their disappointing start.
There's been a couple of games, that Cleveland game being one of them, where he actually, I saw him get into this takeover mode. And it was, I'm going to get to the basket no matter what. I'm getting to the rim. We need to. I'm going to get it. In the Sacramento game prior to Cleveland, it started with a little floater. He got into the lane and hit with his right hand. With Cleveland, it was a really strong left-hand drive where you saw him flip into this mentality of, we're going to win tonight, and I'm going to do it. And I think that you see that determination in some of his drives. They're very physical drives. And when I say physical drives, they're physical from the perimeter all the way to the basket. So the physicality starts 25, 26 feet from the basket, where, we talk about winning the chest battle. So if I can get my shoulder in the middle of your chest as a defender, I control you, I'm going to win now. I'm getting all the way to the rim because I'm going to force you to open your hips. And I saw some of that come out. But all that's based off the threat of him shooting. So the way people have to come out and defend him on the perimeter, they have to be so tight to take his airspace away so he can't see the rim. Now he just has answers for all that. And it starts with being a physical, determined driver and all the things we just talked about a few minutes ago, learning how to finish around the rim. And I do think that right now his mentality is, we need to win. Early in the season, yeah, I understand that. You certainly can't win a top 4 seed in October.
Bro said my mentality was, we need to win. Whose mentality isn't like that in the NBA? What? Alright, I'm done with this dude. I can't stand him talking anymore. Anyway, bro, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. And remember, keep being you, slime. And I'm out, y'all.